Hi, and welcome everyone to the Creative Cast. My name is Lucas Homan, and for this week, I'm very proud to have on board an outstanding illustrator and digital artist, born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and currently based in France, Luiza Laffitte. Welcome to the show.
Oh, you're so nice. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm very happy to have you here, and I would love to get to know you better. And so feel free to introduce yourself.
Okay, introduce yourself. This is the most difficult thing
It really is.
each artist has to do. So you already said some important thing. I'm Brazilian, and I came to France when I was 25. It was 10 years ago. Next week, actually. By the time the podcast airs, it will be 10 years that I'm in France.
Ooh, nice.
Wow. So don't calculate my age.
Too late.
So, yeah, I came. I worked as an illustrator in Brazil, and I came to France to join an art school, and I'm here ever since. It's kind of that. I don't know too much how to introduce myself. Don't I need to ask some questions?
Yes, sure. No, I always, tend to give, the guests just the possibility to share whatever they feel important that is to be known about themselves. And it's so weird. Everyone does it so differently as well. Some people just go for it and talk and about their whole life, and it's really fascinating. It's I love it, and they go off, and some are like, so that's such a hard question.
I don't know what to say.
I'm that second type as well.
That doesn't know what to say.
Yeah. So as you said, you did your degree in France. So I'm interested in how you ended up actually becoming an illustrator.
I'm in France. Okay, so I had my degree in advertisement in Brazil. Mm-hmm. And I actually started working as an art director and not an illustrator. At the time, I didn't thought that illustration was a field that we could work in. So at least it wasn't for me. I always draw. Since I was a kid, just like all the illustrations, the big cliche. I draw when I was a kid. I did a lot of small draw as gifts for my family, Oh,
nice.
But I went to college to do an advertisement major. And when I got out, 4 years after I joined the college, I started working as an art director in advertisement agencies. And slowly I started integrating illustration in my designs.
Yeah.
And at that time, I thought it was so cool to see an illustration I did, because illustration at the time was only a hobby and something I did at home. And when I saw the first layout came out with an illustration, I saw, actually, this is an option. And I started putting more and more illustrations in my designs and started freelancing as a side job with personal commissions for my friends and stuff like that. And by the time I realized that all my designs had illustrations, and I made more money with private commissions and freelancing than with my salary. I just dropped the agencies and started freelancing.
Yeah, that was definitely a sign, right?
Yeah, and then about 2 to 3 years of freelancing in Brazil, I wasn't that good at the time, I thought that I could be better. Okay. And it's funny because at that time, my mother had a French course at home, and she learned French with a Brazilian woman that lived in France but came to Brazil, and she saw my drawings and she saw that I worked doing that, and then she asked me why don't you join an art school in France? And I was like, yeah, okay.
Sure.
Just see myself to cross the Atlantic and join an art school in France. Okay. But I guess something stuck in my head, and then I Googled art school France in Google, and École Pivot came up, and I contacted them, and I applied, and I integrated the second year of illustration there. And 3 months later, I contacted them. I moved to France without speaking French.
Wow.
And
what
that's
a move.
how I came to France.
What a move. Holy
it was
cow.
crazy, yeah.
Okay. But like that decision must have been quite tough as well. Not only because of the language, but also like the society and the culture is very different.
Yeah, it's a bit different, but not all that different. And when I integrated École Pivot, I had to draw and not to write and not to speak. So in that way, it was a bit easier. The only thing I needed to do was to understand what the teacher was asking me to do.
Yes.
So I was able, for the 3 months between the day I contacted them and the day I moved, I did a little bit of French course, but it was not enough to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But it was enough to buy a croissant in the bakery. So I wouldn't starve,
A croissant and a baguette, and just roll with it.
Yeah.
That's so French. Love it. It's like it's that very stereotypical idea of French.
Yeah.
That in a way is very true, right? Okay, great. So that was sort of the reasoning and the story behind why you moved from Brazil to France. Yeah. And do you reckon the platform provided in France is easier and richer for freelancers like yourself than back home?
The platform, do you mean the professional, the work here?
Yeah.
If we compare to Brazil, it's 100% easier here than Brazil.
Okay.
Brazil, everything is difficult. And freelancing in Brazil is really difficult because, especially with illustration, because people don't see it yet, illustration as a major, as a profession. So I had comments like, "Oh, you do illustration, but what do you do for a living?" I do illustration.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So it's kind of like that, and people don't pay what we should earn. So in France, there is a culture around illustration with comics, with children books, with exhibitions. The art here is really strong. So in this way, it's easier.
Okay.
But there are a lot of people that do illustration here. So it's in the other way, it's kind of hard because you have to be unique to find a job. You can't do what everyone does.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So it's
so
complex.
Much competition in a way, right?
Competition, yes.
I mean, in a way, I tend to try to see everyone else, especially in art, right? That does their thing, not as competition, but as, co-workers that do the same thing, and, some people I can work with and not against. But it's really hard to find the balance there.
Yeah, sometimes I try to think in that way, but sometimes it's kind of hard because clients here create the competition. They contact 2 or 3 illustrators, and sometimes they ask the illustrator to do an illustration before they can decide.
Yeah.
This kind of client I usually don't work with. I don't do illustrations for free so he can decide. but everything that is public here, the law force the public spaces to contact 2 or 3 or 4 illustrators to do the works. So the competition is there.
Yes.
And I didn't yet had a project that I could work side by side with another illustrator. So that's why I see a little bit of competition here.
Sure.
But I have no problem if I have like the dream. A lot of clients, I can take one client to give this client to another fellow illustrator.
That would be maybe a better fit.
There's no competition. It's kind of cooperation between illustrators.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen all the time.
Okay, sometimes. Come on, yeah. I mean,
I said it's a dream. I don't have a lot of projects at the same time either. So that happened like 4 or 5 times.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. We all have different experience depending on who it is and how the relationship works. And sometimes it's great and sometimes it's a bit harder. That's just how life is as well.
It depends on the project and on the client and on the time. I don't know. A lot of things.
Sure. I would love to dig into your specifically into your work and have you explain how your work actually is and how you create it.
How do I create? Personal work or professional work? Because
that's a very good distinction. Let's start with your professional and then end up in your
professional work. Usually I have a breathing. And what I try to do today, I didn't work like that before. I learned how to work this way watching Skillshare classes actually with Jessica H. It's a lettering illustrator. And it's really effective. When I have a briefing, I just highlight the most important words that I have on the briefing. I make a list. And then only with this list, I try to see how those words can relate with themselves. So for instance, if I have an orange and a cup, how can I relate an orange and a cup? I can make a cup with the texture of an orange, or I don't know.
Yes.
I'm not feeling
different possibilities of mixing those.
The possibilities of mixing and integrating things together. So this way, I make like 2 or 3 thumbnails after I have an idea clear on paper, not on paper, but on Photoshop. I never did
on screen.
Paper.
Yeah.
I can make a sketch. And then I send the sketch for approval to the client. At this point, I won't ever think of color, of rendering, or anything. I would only think composition. And the client must approve everything that is there, because if I jump to the next phase, I won't come back to this first one.
Sure.
So after everything is okay, is approved, and I have a composition, that's the most difficult part for me because I have so much trouble with color.
Okay.
And then I will do a lot of research, color research, and I always ended up with the same colors actually. And I will make like a color base. I will do the shapes of the elements of the objects. And I will send the client this color base, but it won't have shadows, it won't have texture, it won't have anything. It will be only the color base. And if or when it's approved, I start finalizing it, and then the work is done.
Okay. I like it. I like the way you proceed. It's very methodical, and it guarantees that everything you do in a way is not time you waste. Right?
Yeah.
You always...
I try to be effective, because if I send the final draw and then the client says, I don't like this character, I would need a dog instead of a girl. It changes everything. I will need to sketch it all over again and start it all over again. So this takes time and money, and it's not too wise to do like that.
No, sure. Fair. Sounds smart enough. I mean, that's good. And you do like, you always keep the communication up probably with the client and make sure you're on the same page.
Surprises in the way.
Okay, great. So, and how about your private projects, your personal projects?
My personal projects, between sketch and final illustration is like the same. It's the beginning that is different. I don't have a list or a briefing to work on. Ideas just pop up. Yeah. Sometimes I write it down because almost never I'm able to do at the time the idea comes. Or sometimes I have photos that I have a photo album of image that inspires me, or for somehow I want to draw them. Sometimes even people on the street, I take photos like without them seeing, because they have a beautiful hat or a beautiful dress. And all of this I put aside. I don't have an idea at the moment I took the photo, but something in the photo was interesting. And another time when I'm washing the dishes or taking a shower, the idea just pop up, and I know how to do it and how to use the illustration after. And I start sketching right away. So I don't think like I'm going to sit down right now and I will create a personal project. It almost never worked like that. It's the personal project that chooses the time it will arise, you know?
Yes. It chooses you, right? Like a... yeah, that reminded me of like the wands in Harry Potter and the magic wands. The wand chooses the wizard, and it's not the other way around.
Once I heard someone, I don't know anymore who said that, but I thought it was genius, that ideas for personal project, because client ideas has to come right away. But idea for personal project, it's like dust flying in the air, just waiting for an open mind to land on. And it's something like that. It chooses us. You just have to keep your mind open to bring them to you. It's something like that.
Nice. And then once you got that seed of how it may look like, then you go ahead and do all the work. You start probably on paper, and then you go to the screen, or do you do everything?
Never paper. There was a time when I was at the art school. I had too many papers everywhere with paint, with watercolor, and I have no place to storage it. And that just, I don't like it at all to have physical things. And I like my home to be clean, and I stopped slowly using paper. And right now, if I have an idea and I need to sketch, it's directly on my iPad.
All right. Okay. So right away, go to the computer. Away.
And it does bother me so much to erase things.
And then have all those little bits and pieces. Yeah, I can see you.
I just prefer to just do to come back or use the digital eraser, and that's even better.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I've never heard someone actually complain about. Like, I've thought about it. I was like, okay, this and it's never like gone completely. And so it's some bits in there is there.
And if it's saying it's impossible, start all over again.
Yeah. No, it just okay. No. Come on, new piece of paper. Okay, and talking about your personal projects, like we have some of the artwork you have produced right behind you, showcasing. Maybe we can have a look at them.
Yeah, like that.
And it's like
personal work, and this one was a client work.
I see.
Yeah.
I feel like every time when I go through your work, it feels like every piece of artwork you do is like a world within its own.
Yeah, I tried it.
Right?
I tried it each time, especially for the personal projects.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to not just tell a story, but to do something that could be poetic and could be a story for someone.
Mm-hmm.
You can interpret it in your own way. And the important thing for me is to create something that is not real, because reality is everywhere. So why should I put reality again in my work if I can do anything I want?
Yeah.
That's my major goal.
Okay.
And
yeah, I totally feel like you accomplished that, as I said, like it's this own world where the longer you look at it, the more things you find out about it. Like there's I look at it and then I wander around with my eyes and I find new pieces that I didn't see right away. It's like little details and hidden gems. It's like, oh, what? I didn't this is water as well, and like what?
So cool to hear that.
So it rediscovers itself in a way.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm glad you said that. I'm so happy.
That's at least how I perceive it, and it's I mean, it stood out to me right away. And in your I found out about you, through your Instagram, and where you have most of your artwork there, and I also saw some of your prints, and they look so well as well, so great in an A4 A3 size, and they really pop out. And even in real life, you can even search for it more because it's larger than on your phone, for example.
Yes,
and, yes. Because the details are rich and quite small sometimes, within the picture.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I wanted to actually I kind of feel like I've taken away explaining it, right? Just telling you how I feel like them when I appreciate them. But I'd love to hear from you as well, like the general idea. I feel like if someone has never seen your artwork before, your illustrations before,
the general idea,
how would you describe them to them?
Well, I don't see my illustrations as people see my illustrations. Mm-hmm. I have a pretty weird thing. As soon as I finish an illustration, I don't like it anymore. I need to start a new one.
Okay.
So that's why I have trouble describing it to people. Mm-hmm. But people keeps asking me, how do I describe my illustrations and my work? So it's a bit what I already said. I try to bring something magical, poetic, and unexpected. Does that work as an answer?
Yeah, I like it. I like it. So you you told me that your personal projects are very important to you, and they mean they make a big chunk of your life. Maybe you can tell us a bit about that.
Yes, I took some time to understand why personal work was important, and as soon as I understood, I never stopped doing. Mm-hmm. And for now, I have like 3 or 4 personal projects in parallel, and I almost all the time finishes everything that I start. And I can't say exactly when I started doing personal projects this way, in this kind of intensive way, because everything in my life was like ups and downs. I can't tell you a story, a chronological story, like a straight line.
Okay.
But one time that was really important, a personal project, was when I was pregnant of my second kid. Actually, let's go back a little bit. When I was pregnant of my first kid, I stopped illustration. I did only illustration for professional work and never draw at home, never draw anything beside the client work. And then I stopped at 6 months for my maternity leave, and 6 months without drawing even a circle. When I got back to work, I had so much trouble illustrating because I had no ideas. Because creativity is something you must nourish.
Yeah.
And I haven't nourished it, not at all.
Yeah.
But I was a first-time mom. I wanted to leave 100% for my kid. There are times in our lives that we do different things. That's why the ups and downs. And then when I was pregnant of my second child, I didn't want that to happen again.
Yes.
When I got back to work, that I had trouble all over again. So I had an idea to make a personal project, just to keep practicing. And the idea was my kids would share the room. So I didn't want the second kid to feel like he was coming in someone else's room. I wanted him to feel like it was also his room, even though he wouldn't understand a thing around him. So I had an idea to redo the illustrations of the frames. I have 5 frames in their room right now.
Okay.
With an illustration that wasn't important.
Okay.
And I asked my oldest one, at the time he was 2.5 years, what he would like to be drawn, to put inside the frame. So he had 2.5 years. He wouldn't explain anything in a big sentence or complex things. So he told me words of things he liked. So it was like a house and a boat. And then I asked him, so you want an illustration of a house and an illustration of a boat? And he told me no, in the same illustration. And then I said, okay, I can do this. I can do it. And then I took his words as a briefing and as a challenge. And I started doing a project for his room at the beginning. It took me like ages to finish the 5 illustrations because I had no time with a small kid and pregnant. The moment I finished it, I decided to publish it, the illustrations I did with my kid. And then that project became a collection that I called Unimaginable World. And this project for my kids' room brought me like 3 or 4 clients that showed me, I want you to draw something like that in this collection as a reference.
Nice.
So there is the importance of doing personal work. And today, the most part of my clients came through a personal project.
Okay. Because that maybe shows like the most truest way of you expressing your way of producing illustration, right?
Yes, because when we work for a professional project, you can do your best, but you're still illustrating for someone else's project. It's not your project.
Yes.
So it must please someone else and not you. So you can show 100% of yourself with a client work, and you cannot experiment new things with a client work. They need a safe illustration. So, but personal projects are important for that, and was through personal projects that I found my style. I didn't found it. I decided the style I wanted to have. And that's why it's important. And there is a lettering illustrator that is called, oh my God, I forgot her name. It's not important. Yes, it's important, but
If
not
you
right
remember
now.
later, just smuggle it in.
Lauren Home. That's it. Lauren Home. She's a lettering illustrator, and 2 months ago she did a conference about personal projects that she calls passion projects, and how your passion projects can bring professional work. That is really, really important, and we don't talk much about it. It's really important to put personal projects in our portfolio.
Oh, and like
half professional and half personal.
Yeah, I see you. Okay. And so that was the main message you took away from that event or conference from her?
The main message, but she told she did 3-day conference. She showed personal or passion projects that she did, that her friends did, and she helped people to have ideas, to have ideas to do a personal project. And the most important thing she told, and I completely agree with her. The goal of a passion project is to have fun. It's not to bring clients. The clients will come as a consequence, not as a goal. And not all passion projects will bring clients. So you can predict the one that is going to work or that is not going to work. So the goal should be have fun. And that's what I try to do.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't put too much pressure on yourself, right?
Yeah.
Not like, okay, this person must work out and must bring me in like at least this many clients.
Everything can be a personal project. Even the birthday of my kids are personal projects. Like all the decorations they want. The last birthday I did 14 dinosaurs just for fun. They had shirts and
ties and bow ties.
But, the one that
the bow tie. I think it's called bow tie.
Bow tie. And I did 14.
Okay, nice. I reckon also like at least that's what happens to me and to most artists I know. And then it's that oftentimes personal passion projects are actually harder to do than professional.
I don't think so. It's pretty natural because you don't have anyone who will critique your work. And at the end, it's your choice to publish it or not.
Yeah, it's true. In a way, I feel like I hear that a lot because when you do personal projects, you have to reflect and ask yourself and understand yourself better. And we oftentimes we're not used to that. Where we like to get told like, okay, these are the rules and you just do it.
You like the rules. You can choose the rules for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, for everyone, it's different, right? I also read that you work at a co-working space.
Yeah, here.
Yes. So how does that fit in within all of what we've talked already?
I just love so much my co-working space. I've been here. It's been 6 or 7 years. I don't know when I started. I don't know anymore. I'm the person who was the most, how can I say that? I'm the longest here than anyone. I'm the oldest here,
Yeah. You lived there in a way.
Not in age. Here we are 13 people and we share the space with a company. They are 13 people too. And I'm the only illustrator in the co-working space. We have all the professions, all different fields here. Half of us it's in the creative field, and that is so cool because here I have a colleague that is a motion design, a graphic designer, a developer. We had an architect, but she had to go. What else? We have, I'm forgetting people.
Yeah, quite a big diversity there.
It's a lot of diversity.
Nice.
There is even people that does things that I don't know how to translate because there are new things that are appearing right now. A lot of new jobs, you know. One girl here, she writes biography, personal biography for people, random people that wants to tell their story.
Oh, like a ghostwriter in a way.
I'm sorry?
Like a ghostwriter?
I don't understand.
I think ghostwriters are people that write biographies for other people.
Yeah, but she doesn't work for a house, a publishing house, you know.
Oh, okay.
Fair
enough.
Only herself. Private.
Okay, nice. But do you own part of that co-working space? You founded it?
No, we are an association.
Oh, okay.
We have a monthly pay that we use all together to pay our bills.
Sure. Okay, makes sense.
Like we share the space.
Well, yeah. I think it's a co-working space.
Yeah, but there are co-working spaces. There are business to make money. There are a lot here at not. They're really shared because they have someone just to how do I say to organize the co-working space to make it to run the co-working space. And here we just share the tasks between us, and everyone is responsible for one thing in the co-working space.
Okay, nice. Sounds like how you call it in English, like when several people live together in an apartment.
Yeah, I was searching for that name, but I couldn't find it.
Like roomies.
In Brazil, we call it republic, something like that. I'm sorry, I'm speaking French right now.
just give me all your French. Come on, I surrender. No, but that's interesting. Like there. I noticed like the co-working space idea is like growing so bad. Like I see them everywhere here as well.
Yes, it's like here in France we say everything grows like mushrooms. It's like everything.
Como mala hierba. That's how I say it in Spanish. Like bad grass.
Bad grass. Beautiful working spaces.
I wanted to ask you how, like, back to your personal projects. I was wondering how you actually managed to find your own style. That is, I can see a style in your work. It's very recognizable.
Yes, that's a complex answer. Probably I'm going to give you, because again, there were ups and downs. I didn't found my style like that, and I don't like to say that I found my style. I built my style. So there was a time I had clients. My first clients, they usually came and because they wanted a illustrator. They doesn't need me. They needed a illustrator. And then they came with the briefing and a style they wanted. So I had to draw in different styles. Each client, one style. And I know that illustrators that go further, they don't work in a bunch of styles. Even though they have different styles, they choose the style they want to work with. And there's never the client who chooses the style. So I wanted to have a style, and I wanted a client to need me and not an illustrator.
Mm-hmm.
So I started listening a lot of podcasts around creativity and design and illustration. And I decided to work to build a style. So I had a plan. I wanted to have a style that could work for children public and an adult public. So I tried to do something between both publics. Today, maybe a project will come and say that I'm not child material, and another client will say that I'm too child material. Okay. So, and for some other clients, they will say that it's just perfect the way they want, and that's it. So when I was listening to the podcasts, there's a podcast that I like a lot that is called the 3 Points Perspective. Mm-hmm. There are three illustrators, and there are children book illustrators. And one of them is Will Terry. And Will Terry, he invented this exercise to get better on something. And at the time, I thought my characters, they didn't have personality. They were too stuck. They didn't have movement. Mm-hmm. And I think the base of a style is the character. Mm-hmm. So I had to improve my characters. Mm-hmm. And Will Terry's exercise was draw 50 something. And I decided to draw 50 characters. And I draw 50 characters. I was so proud of myself that I went to the bottom of the thing and I made 50 sketches and I finalized 10 of them. I didn't finalize all of them.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
But between the first and the last one, I knew what I wanted to do and I did it more naturally because I have done 50 of them before.
Yeah.
And of course, my characters keep evolving, keep improving, but it's a little bit through the time. We can see if you take a work that I did 2 years ago, you will see the difference. But through time, you won't see the difference. And that's the way I started finding my style. Oh, okay. That's why the personal projects is also for the improvement of the style.
Yes. Yeah, it helps you as an artist to get better at doing your work. So it's interesting. So you started to add more personality and emotion in a way.
Yes. I used to draw a lot with vector, and I don't know how to do vector with the feeling of movement. And when I found my style, I started working with vector. Now I'm 100% pixel. That was an evolution. Also an evolution because I think pixel is more close to organic work because we have textures and we have the movement of the hand that is drawing the elements. And that also was a choice to build my style today. I don't do vectors anymore.
Okay. Interesting. To do it with an actual on a tablet, that's what you mean.
Yeah, tablet and a pencil.
Yeah, there you go. No, of course, the works in a way are very dynamic. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Instead of being more stationary, which kind of goes to the other opposite end.
Yes, there are works that are less dynamic that I love, that I really, really like, but I don't think that that's the kind of style that's working for me. So the decision was 100% personal.
Okay, nice. So that was your process of making your own style instead of finding it. It's not like lying around and waiting for you to. Oh, there you are. No, it's like
I don't know how style works for people, but for me, it was a decision, and I have to work every day to not get away of my style,
Yeah.
to keep running and evolving in a logical way. But it's easy for me to going sideways, and I have to come back and no, this is my style. You have to be consistent. And you have a portfolio, so people will need your work and not a illustrator's work. It's everyday work.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you could describe style as a skill you need to keep exercising for it to be great.
That's the word, exercising.
And just practice a lot. I'm curious in what are like the main challenges you've faced throughout your career so far. Can be from all sides of different aspects of your life.
Yes, I guess the bigger challenge I had was to come to France and start all over again. Because I came here, I knew no one. I had to make friends for my personal life, and I had to search for clients.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I worked a lot with things that I didn't want to work with. I had to do a graphic design that I didn't want to do it anymore, or to do things that are, you just have you have some, when you buy a product, you have the notice of the product in different languages.
Yes.
Explain how to use the product. I had to change the languages, put the text inside the notice. And that was a challenge for me because I had to do stuff that I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
And that made me really not happy. I was in a bad mood at the time. And it was a big challenge to look for people who wanted to work with illustration. And it's still a challenge to search for people who wanted to work with me. It's becoming easier, but it's still a challenge. I think for most people who is freelancing, the challenge is every day. You do a project right now, and the project is finished. You don't know if you will have a project in the future. You have to believe you will have a project in the future. That's a constant challenge.
Okay. But but how comes you see that's like where does the problem rely on? Is it like the clients want something that you don't want to do, or is it that maybe the need isn't out there yet? You have to create that need.
You have to create the need. I think, for me at least, when I started building a portfolio with a consistent style, it became easier to find people that want to work with what I love to do. But before that, it was really, really hard, and you have to accept projects that you really don't want to work with because you have bills to pay. I'm saying projects that are not bad projects, like you were going to make an advertisement to sell guns or something like that. Okay. But projects that it's not fun. It's not fun for you personally. And now I'm thinking I'm changing from one phase to another. Yeah. I'm saying goodbye to that phase, thank God. And I'm starting a new phase that I'm having more fun, that I'm having projects that I'm professional projects that I can be passionate about. And that's the jackpot for me.
Yeah, no, but I reckon that's what most parades generally are. It's just there's a money incentive rather than a real interest in actually doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so sad when you have to do things for money.
Yeah. And the real challenge is switching it up. Really.
Yeah. Yes.
and do something that passionate to you. Um, as it's in the name of the podcast, the one of the bigger topics is also creativity in itself, and how that plays out and changes in meaning for all of us, for every single person. So I would love to hear your take on what creativity actually is, what it means to you, and how do you use it for your projects.
Yes. Creativity for me, it's almost like a feeling. I think anyone is capable of being creative. It's something that anyone have, just as you can be sad, you can be happy, you can be creative.
Yeah. Okay.
Creativity is there for anyone. An engineer can be creative. A doctor can be creative. Even when you are walking on the street and you need a shortcut, you have to be creative to find your shortcut.
Yeah.
So creativity is there. The thing is that there are people that uses more and people that uses less of creativity. And creativity is not something that you can turn on and off. It's only something you can nourish. And you will nourish your creativity with your inspirations. That's the way I see creativity. It's part of my life, and it's a part of my life in every aspect of my life. In my personal life, in my work, in illustrations in general, in buying a bed for my room. I don't know, anything. Creativity is always there, and I try to nourish it a little bit every day. So when I need it, I can use it.
Nice. You keep it healthy.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Makes complete sense. So that is the definition it has for you. How do you use it in a practical way for your work?
I have the chance that creativity for me is natural. Just like we said before, sometimes I think it chooses me. Sometimes I don't want to be creative, but
it's like, no, come on, stop it. I want to sleep. Come on.
So it's more like when I come to my husband and I say, I have an idea. He says, oh my God, not again.
It's like, God,
kind of like
bro,
that.
Not again.
And that's my father. He usually answers, oh my God, how much do you need? But creativity is always there and ideas are always there, though. So I'm using it all the time, really all the time. So I don't know how to explain it better without examples. Professionally, we all know how can I use creativity. But in my day-to-day life, right now, for instance, I'm doing. I love dried flowers. And
what do you love?
Dried flowers.
Dried flowers.
And when we take a walk in nature, I'm unable to walk right now without watching on the floor all the time. I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
No, I was imagining you actually going like one by one.
Yes, I can lose the kids. They can go anywhere because I'm always looking down, searching for flowers to dry. And my house at the moment is like a forest. You can't come inside the bathroom because there are plants everywhere. And that's how I use creativity. I took those plants, I made a wreath. And now inside the wreath, I'm putting illustrations that are coming through the plants. And I can do it all the weekend. I can work on that.
All right. So you're getting close to nature in that sense.
Just nature, personal work, even here at work, all the plants that I found everywhere, I have at work. So this is
nice. I love it. It reminds me a lot on a teacher I had back in the days when I studied photography, and she was she did all sorts of visual art with plants, like different like forms and shapes you can do with all sorts of different leaves and like mind-blowing shit, if I may say it like that. And like she made literally like flowers and leaves and all of that to her main area of executing her art and her way of seeing things.
Oh, that's so cool.
So it just totally reminded me of her. I was like, oh, that's so there. Lola Guerrero, if she listens.
And that's it. When creativity stop by, I can stop myself. And I need to stop everything I'm doing to do something else and something creative. Mm-hmm. And I don't control it.
So right now, you I feel like you're in a phase where you're going, as you said, towards this side where you do more. We have more clients that want from you projects that you're more passionate about because they suit your style. Yes. And you're doing that transformation right now. And I feel like you have learned so many valuable lessons to get to actually to be able to turn. What will be some important, valuable tips or advice you could share with us, especially with people that are maybe younger and have not figured it out yet?
The most important thing is to never forget why, in my case, you are an illustrator or a photograph, because we love. At the moment, we forget that, and this become only a job. That's the way you won't go, and you won't go far enough. Never forget this is the thing you love, and we are so lucky to do professionally. I think that for someone it's a hobby.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. And when we have fun doing our work, people can see it, and we are better.
Yeah,
and we have more clients.
Okay. So never forget why you're actually doing what you're doing.
Yes.
So it doesn't, you don't shift away from it and maybe, I don't know, just get stuck on a job because of the money, right? For example.
Exactly, because if you do something creative and it's not what you love, maybe you shouldn't do that anymore. Everyone should find the job that they love, and then he will be the best on it.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I also tend to find very, very useful advice in bigger mistakes we all have at some point in life. Do you recall any moment you were said, "Oh man, I prefer to not have done this," or like it can be anything from the way you treat a customer or the way you had an exposition that didn't work out how you wanted it to be because of this specific reason. Did you see some mistakes you've learned from?
I usually play safe, so I don't have a lot of mistakes. I have regret that
few regrets
that I didn't start sooner to find my style, to work more on myself. But at the same time, I think that comes with maturity. I had to live what I lived to get at this point.
Yeah,
it's been a while that I'm working as an illustrator. I changed from one culture to another. Across the Atlantic. I became a mom.
Yeah.
And I guess I had to leave all of that to be what I am today.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel a little bit of regret that I couldn't see clear before.
Okay.
I could start working on my style before. I could start working on my career plan before.
Mm.
And the information were always there, and it was me that wasn't interested enough
Yeah.
to know what was there.
I see what you mean. I hear that very often. Like, I don't know, maybe this is just maybe a bad comparison, but maybe someone that just started out someone that's 30 and just started out playing the guitar, and like they wanted always to play really great guitar, and they feel like if they started at like age 11, they will be so good now. And they get like really sad about that. I was like, oh no, I'll never be like, if I keep practicing 10 years, I might get there. So, but the thing is, we needed all of what happened before to happen to us to actually get in the right mindset to do what we do today.
Yes, when I see students making mistakes today and making a portfolio that is not good enough in a way of strategy good enough to their clients, because they don't even know what kind of clients they want yet. Mm-hmm. And then I say to myself, they are doing it wrong, and so clear to how should they do. But at the same time, they are students, they are young, they haven't lived enough. So that's the way that I'm between two thoughts, that I could do what I did before, but I wasn't mature enough before. So would that work if I did before? If I did sooner? I have no idea.
Yeah.
So I like mixed feelings.
Yeah. You're like, yes, but maybe no.
Maybe I would be a great guitar player right now, but maybe not. Maybe at 11, I wouldn't take this so far, something like that.
I actually was thinking about, I had something I wanted to ask you, and then like because it broke down, I was like, and now I forgot it. It was about
the mistakes and challenges.
Like a young illustrator on his way, but like specific tips for actually finding clients. Not we have spoken about doing personal projects, but also what you see is used and done currently within the industry, like what type of programs are being used, and what are the different approaches you do with a client, and how different ways to find them, things like that.
So I'm not that good in prospecting a client. For me, what worked the most was to show a consistent portfolio so they came to me. For sure. I try to be active in social media, but to be honest, each time I reached a client, they told me, yeah, it's so good what you do, but we don't have a project right now. Maybe they will come to me 2 years later with a project. When you prospect right now, it almost never you have a project right now, because people are not expecting to hear from you. They doesn't know you, so they don't need you.
Yeah.
So what I do is I try to be active in internet so they can find me. I'm putting myself there so they can find me.
Yeah.
And when someone is looking for an illustrator and they cross your work, it's the best prospect you can do. So right now, as I'm not that good in prospecting, I have some news. By the time this podcast airs,
yeah,
I will start working with a rep I'm represented right now by an international agency that is called Illustration X.
Mm-hmm.
And they represent me exclusively worldwide. So I'm hoping they will bring me clients and I won't have to reach for clients anymore.
Okay, but nice. But so they kind of do some work for you, like to project you.
I don't know if you know how representation works.
Probably not.
Usually, I will start work with them next week, so I don't have a lot of information on how we will work together, but I have some information up front. They have a list of clients they are usually to work with. Everyone that contacts me right now must pass through them, so they can how do I say, they can talk to find the best arrangement for both sides, the client and me. And Illustration X have around 250 illustrators and animators they work with. So everything that is administration and talking to clients and making invoices and budgets and everything like that, there will be them that is going. It will be them that will be working instead of me.
And is that working out well for you?
I think that will be working perfectly for me, because that's the part of my job that I don't like at all and I'm not good at. I think.
Okay. Yeah, of connecting and doing all that.
Yes, that was not my major. I don't know how to talk budget with people.
Yeah.
I just know how to draw. And I hope that will be the only thing I will be doing from now on. Drawing.
Okay, nice. And did they reach out to you, or did you find them and apply and they took you in?
Actually, one of the agents of the agency reached out to me for work. And I didn't know the agency before. And when she reached out, I searched for Illustration X. I saw that was a representation agency. And I told them I was interested in I'm sorry.
Be represented by them.
Represented if they were interested, and they were interested.
Nice. So you it was a happy accident that you got to know them. And then
they reached out first, but I told them I would love to work with them in the future. We discussed it a little. The agent sent my work to the team scout, and the team scout reached out to me. And 1 month later, we signed a contract.
Nice. But first of all, congratulations for that.
Yeah.
And second of all, you actually did actively propose that to them. So
yes, because this was a thing that I was looking to work with in a long time. I was searching for an agent. I don't like to do this administrative work, and I don't know, as I said, how to reach out to clients in an effective way.
Sure.
And if I can collaborate with someone else with their job, I thought it would be better. But it's really, really difficult to find a rep. It's really, really difficult.
Yeah, to get that finishing contract and get it both signed.
I'm really, really like.
Okay, no, great. I mean, those kind of cooperations between the facilitators and you is that you can focus more on what you do best, right? Which is creating artwork and focusing on the artsy side of it, right? Instead of having to do all the business aspect.
Yes. Yeah.
Which we all need to deal with as we want to make a living out of it as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's something you would encourage younger people to actually be looking out for as well. Maybe get represented?
Why not? Why not? But I think it's nice to have a little bit of experience before you start working with an agent.
Mm.
And I think we grow so much when we are on our own and we have our first projects. It's like the amount of effort you put on your work is the amount of earning you will get behind it. It's proportional. It's not like someone who works for an agency who works and have the same salary at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And that is gratifying to work for yourself and see the result of that. So I wouldn't work for I wouldn't search for a rep right after college, because I think we have to have a certain level of maturity to respond to an agent, because they ask a lot of you either. Yeah. It's not the rainbows and unicorns all the time. You have to be able to deliver everything. You have to be able to understand the client, to understand the briefing.
Yeah.
And you have to be experienced enough to not make beginner's mistakes.
For them not to kick out. It's like, nah, it's not working out how we thought it would be.
Working, and then if you get the chance to have an agent and you blow that, the second chance will be really hard. So I think you should be prepared for an agent before working with an agent. But I haven't still yet started working with an agent.
Yeah, so, fair enough. Okay.
We'll see.
Okay, I see. I hope that works out great for you. I'm sure it will. Like normally they provide you a lot, and if you're, as you said, professional enough and you know your shit. Sorry, I like to talk straight. It normally is a good recipe, and it works out just fine. I've not had the experience so far to have some representative of mine. But at some point you never know. I'm still very young, so
I'm betting on this relationship with the agency, and I'm hoping it will work.
Nice. We're coming towards the end of the episode, and before we get there, I'd love you to give the opportunity to share with the audience where they can actually find your work and find out about you and what you do, and maybe get in contact.
Yes, people can find me on Instagram, Luiza Laffitte. Oh my God, I don't know how to pronounce my name in English.
It sounds like, I think it's the same, right?
It's the same, Luiza Laffitte.
Yeah.
With C, and also in Behance, the same name, Luiza Laffitte. And also in my website, where they can contact me professionally if they want, luizalaffitte.com.
Yeah, I checked out your website as well, and it looks absolutely delicious. I'll have to tell you. It is just candy for your eyes. I really enjoyed scrolling down, and it's built up in a very creative way that suits your style as well. So I would definitely encourage you to check that out. I always give my guests the chance to actually share one more last thing that we might have missed on, that we haven't talked about, that is maybe important to you. It can be anything from like an anecdote or something that happened to you that you found funny or useful, or something important that is still living up there.
Oh my God.
Now I'll put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot, and I have no idea what to say.
It's fine. It can be nothing else as well. I just want to give the opportunity if there is.
No, I guess we talked a little bit about everything.
Mm-hmm. Maybe something that just popped in my mind is maybe there's a book you can recommend about design or about illustration.
A book. I don't read much books about design, about illustration, but I have this magazine that is really, really cool. I don't know if you can find everywhere this magazine. I guess an European thing. It's called Flow. It's a lifestyle magazine. I guess we have in German, in France, and Netherlands.
Say the name again. I didn't catch that.
Flow.
Vogue.
No, Flow.
Oh, Flow. I was like
W.
Oh, Flow. Okay, I don't know that one. Yeah. I see. Yeah, and it's like an online magazine.
No, it's a printed magazine. It's about lifestyle, but it has a lot of culture. It has a lot of design. It comes with gifts.
Okay, that's something to look out for and something to check out.
I have a phone here. It's a really beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Usually, it always takes one article to inspire me and make it work even better.
Oh, damn! That looks nice. Okay.
Beautiful illustrations.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
It's about everything. This one is in French, but I guess they had an international flow for some time, but they stopped it after COVID. So
in English,
right now, yes. I guess you only find in Netherlands. I don't know what do we speak there. Netherlands, Dutch, in German, and in French.
Okay, I see. No English.
Perfect.
Just sad eyes. But fair enough. I love that recommendation, which is actually something, because what you just showed me, it looked quite pleasing as well. I love, checking out books that are visually just staggering and that, as you said, nourish or feed your creativity as well and give you new ideas, right?
Yeah. But usually my ideas come from things that are not especially illustration. So that's why I don't read a lot about illustration. But
it can be anything. I mean, nowadays, most people are maybe just listen to podcasts or check other artists' website of their work, or maybe on YouTube. TED Talks.
So I read really few books about illustration. The one I read about, but it's years ago, was Jessica's book. The one I talked about earlier, that she's a lettering artist. It's a little bit about her life and how she works. So that was the last one I read about illustration.
Okay, nice. I mean, if there is a lack of good illustration books out there, that's an idea.
They don't
something. No, just saying.
Usually, I buy children's books and just see the illustrations, but I don't read anything that is in there.
Yeah, well, most design books are not meant to be read, just looked at. So
they are books.
Okay, we, as I said, we're reaching the end. I really appreciate you being here to be brave, because this is another challenge for you and for me, to be part of a podcast, of a conversation with someone you don't know that much about, and talking about all these different topics that are so hard and hard to explain and hard to live by.
Actually.
Say again?
Hard to speak in English, actually.
As well, right? Which is for you, there is a language barrier. I believe you did so well today.
Oh, thank you.
I really didn't have to help you at all. Really?
A little bit.
Nah, you did. Come on, you did fine. It was fun talking to you. Thank you so much.
It was my pleasure. It was
for being
cool.
here. I hope there will be at some point part 2, maybe in French. I don't know.
Easier for me.
I'll need to learn some French. I guess.
Maybe Portuguese. Easier.
Oh, that's even more difficult. I feel like. although Portuguese is in a way quite similar to Spanish.
Yes, not so far.
I hope everyone that listened today enjoyed the show as well. As I said, feel free to check out Luiza Laffitte's socials and website. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Luiza, for being here.
Thank you
I'm
so much.
Lucas, and this was a Creative Cast.